Hey guys, welcome back to Builds by Maz. In this video, I'll show you the full process for how to build a deck railing just like this. I'll start by showing you how to install really sturdy deck posts, followed by the railings and metal balusters. In the end, you'll have a really safe railing that looks incredible and isn't too expensive. Let's get started. So you'll want to install the guardrail posts before you've installed the actual decking, and I find it's easiest to start in the corners. So first step, you want to make sure your rim joist, which is this back piece right here, is really secured well to the rest of your deck framing. I'll be using these 5-inch deck screws, which will give a ton more holding power than the framing nails that are currently holding it up. I use 2 through the ends of every deck joist, and this may seem like overkill, but it's going to give you a really solid base for the rest of your railing, and you want to make sure that everything is safe. Now these 4x4 posts can be kind of heavy, and if you're working alone like I am, I recommend taking some scrap lumber and using it as a support to help hold up the post while you install it. I didn't film this, but I used 2 3-inch deck screws from underneath just to hold it in place temporarily, and in the end it looks like this. This will be a huge helping hand while you're getting these posts installed. The first step is to get it leveled, and I really recommend one of these post levels if you don't have one. It's going to allow you to make sure the post is level from both sides at the same time. And I'll have a link to this and all materials needed down in the video description. Next, you need a piece of 4x4 blocking like this. And you want to cut it down so it's the same size as your deck joist, so it's not sticking up through the top. To secure these guardrail posts, we're mainly going to be using these 8-inch fasteners. These are heavy duty screws, which will really keep everything from moving around. But because they're so long, I also recommend an extra long drill bit. We're going to install these 8-inch fasteners from the outside, going through the joist, into the post, and finishing in the 4x4 blocking. Now if you just have a single joist, it'll go even further into the blocking, but it'll work just fine with this double joist. Holding everything in place, I drilled a long pilot hole through all this lumber, which will make attaching the screws much easier. I then installed one of the 8-inch screws through this pilot hole. I only drilled it in about 90% of the way, and as you can see the screw head is still sticking out. That way there's still a little play in the post, and I can fine tune any adjustments as needed. Next, we need 2 more pieces of blocking that are the same height as your deck joists. My deck uses 2x8s, so I use 2x8 blocking right here. I attach these one at a time using some of those 5-inch screws, 2 on each side. Make sure these are firmly pressed against your guardrail post, and they'll play a big part in preventing any movement. With the 4 long screws, this gives a really sturdy connection. With the first one in place, I installed the second one right behind it using 4 more screws. Once that's all installed, we can add these 8-inch deck screws in this direction. We're going to use 2 through this 4x4 blocking, 1 above the other, and then 2 more directly through the post. I didn't film all of it, but I drilled 4 pilot holes and added the 4 screws from this back side of the deck. With that all secure, I added 1 final screw from the right side below the one we started with. Here's a view from the other side to make things more clear. So we have these 4 5-inch screws which are holding the blocking in place. Then we have these 2 8-inch lag screws going through the post. Then there are 2 more lag screws going through the post from this direction, and the final 2 lag screws going through the 4x4 blocking. So in total, each post needs 6 of the lag screws. But because they're so long, you want to make sure they're not intersecting each other as you're installing them. So you can see the ones on the left side are placed a little bit higher than the 4 on the right side. That way, as you screw them into place, they're not hitting each other. But with all this installed, just double check that your post is level and you can move on to the next one. Just as a recap, here's how the blocking should look. The 4x4 is held in place with 2 bolts going this way, which prevents the post from moving side to side. Then you have this blocking in the back, which prevents the post from moving forwards and backwards. I then unscrewed my helping hand board from underneath and installed it in the opposite corner of the deck for this post. Now in this situation, with the post level, you can see that there's a little gap down below here, so I'm going to need to use a shim. I added 1 screw from the left side through the post to hold it in place while I installed the rest of this blocking. I prefer these composite shims for a deck because they're completely weatherproof. I fit the shim in place and hammered it down a little at a time until the post was level. I could then install the remaining lag screws through both sides of the post. If you have any shims sticking up like this, you can trim them off with a multi-tool or use a hammer and chisel. If you've installed everything correctly, these posts should feel extremely secure. It's hard to get them to wiggle even a little bit. So we now have both of the corner posts complete, but we need to fill in all the posts in between them. And the way my measuring worked out is basically every fourth joist, I'm going to add a new post. You generally want to aim for between 4 to 6 feet of spacing between your railing posts, and mine are just over 5 feet apart. If it works out with your joist layout like it did for me, that makes things a lot easier. But if you need to install a post that's not up against the joist, I'll show you how to do that right now. It's going to be the same process for when you're installing posts on the sides of your deck when you only have support from one side instead of two. First, I measured the distance between these two posts and marked off the middle. We're still going to use all the same blocking, starting with this 4x4 piece, but it's going to go in front of the post instead of to the side of it. I installed 2 of the 8-inch lag screws through the back of this side rim joist into the post and this piece of blocking. We'll then use the 2x8 blocking, again using 2 pieces, but this time it's 1 on either side of the post. Each piece will be secured with 2 of the 5-inch screws on each side, so a total of 8 screws used for these 2 pieces. We'll then use 8 more of these 5-inch screws to connect the 2x8s to the 4x4 and to the post. We'll use 4 on each side. Make sure you measure and stagger these so they don't hit each other as they come through the wood from either direction. So we had 2 into the post, 1 on top of the other, and then do the same from the other side. Then repeat it with 4 screws going into the 4x4 blocking. So once you're finished, this is how the post and blocking should all look. And of course I'll remove that helping hand piece from underneath. With all the posts installed, it's good to do a final check and make sure that everything's lined up with each other. But if that looks good, then you're done with the railing until the decking is installed. Fast forward, with the deck in place, we can now move on to finishing the railing. First, I'll add some of these black post skirts. They come in 2 pieces, so you can click them together around the base of the post, and there's a hole on each side to screw it into place. Installation is extremely easy. You just click both halves together around the post. Then you just add a screw on either side to secure it down. These are just an aesthetic choice, but here you can see the difference between a post with and without a skirt, and I think they help give a finished look. These also allow you more margin when you're cutting your decking around the posts, because the cut lines are going to be covered up by the skirts anyway. Also, if you want to see how to install composite decking like this, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss those videos coming out soon. Now we can move on to installing the railing between the posts. When measuring the distance between them, I always recommend checking the bottom and the top, just in case there's any slight difference. This is an example of the railing, and as you can see, I use these black railing connectors at either side, which are made to be used with 2x4s. I think they look good and they make installation easier. What's important to note is that they're a 1/4 inch thick on the back side, so whatever the distance was between your posts, you need to reduce it by 1/2 inch to allow room for these connectors. So for example, if you measured 50 inches, you need to make your cut at 49.5 inches. I cut out 2 pieces for the top and bottom of this railing section. To attach the connectors, first just slide them onto the ends of the cut 2x4s. If it's a tight fit, you may need to hammer it into place. Do this on both sides of every 2x4. On the back of each connector, there are 2 holes where you can add a screw to firmly secure it in place. After drilling some pilot holes, I added the included screws, and that's going to give me a firm connection. The next step is to decide which direction you want your connectors to face. So you can have it like this, where there's nothing on the top, or you can flip it over like this. For the bottom railing, it really is personal preference, and it's not going to make much of a difference, but I'm going to install them like this. Now for the top rail, it can make a difference. If you're going to add a flat drink rail, you'll want it in this orientation where you have a flush top. I'm not doing that, so I'm going to flip it over and install it like this, just because I like the look better. One thing that's important when deciding how to install the brackets is to see how your 2x4 is crowning. Lumber almost always has a natural curve, and you want to look for the side where the center is raised higher than the edges. That's going to be your crown side. Set your 2x4s so the crown sides are facing upwards, and it may be very minimal, but when you're actually installing the railing, you want both of the crowns to face each other like this. Now this is exaggerated, but you want any curve to be towards the middle. That way they're curving towards each other and it's going to keep all the balusters tight. If it was going the other direction and it was curving away, your balusters could come loose or you might get a little gap in the middle here. So with our connector direction determined, we'll flip the 2x4s upwards, and again, you want the crown side on top. To determine even baluster spacing, what I like to do is first mark the very center of the rails. Now this next step is extremely important, because building code dictates that a 4-inch sphere should not be able to pass anywhere through the railing. So if you have 3/4 inch balusters like I do, then at most, each spacing should be no more than 4.5 inches. That way, with the baluster thickness, the gap will be less than 4 inches. You also don't want to end up with a baluster right next to the edge like this. You want to leave consistent spacing. So if 4.5 inch spacing would leave the last baluster right here, I can adjust and use 4.25 spacing to move it away from the edge. So to make your marks, first line up both the top and bottom portions of the railing. Then with a speed square, you can transfer every mark that you make to the bottom railing to the top one, so they stay exactly in line. Now based on my rail's length, 4.25 inch spacing is going to work the best for me. So here I have my center mark, and all I'm going to do is slide my speed square down and line up the mark until it's at 4.25 inches. Then I can make a new mark on the railings. Then I can slide the speed square down again until the new mark is at 4.25 inches and make an additional mark, and so on until you get to the end of the railing. This is a really fast way to get consistent spacing. As you can see, I've got a lot of pencil marks going in one direction, but now I need to mark the center of this 2x4's thickness. Since it's 1.5 inches thick, I just need to make a perpendicular line at the 3/4 mark. I did this all the way down the rail for every baluster mark. This gives me a bunch of plus signs, so now I know exactly where to drill, and all the balusters will be in the exact center of the rail. I recommend starting with pilot holes like this. It'll make the actual baluster installation a lot easier. With everything already marked, you can do this step really quickly. These are the metal balusters I'll be using. I got them from Amazon. They have a 3/4 inch diameter and they're all hollow. They have these included connector pieces, and this is what attaches to the top and bottom rails. There's a hole in the bottom of each one that you can feed the included screws into. Then you can just drill the whole thing into your pilot holes. To speed up the process a little bit, I like to preload a lot of these connectors with the screws. I think it's more efficient, and that way, as I'm drilling them in place, I can knock them all out quickly. With all the connectors installed, I'm going to turn both sides of the rail on their sides, and now I can start adding the balusters. Just slide one end of the baluster over the connectors all along one side of the rail. With all the balusters in place, I'll begin attaching them at the other side, starting at one end. You can see this rail is at an angle, and what I'm going to do is slowly lower it, attaching one baluster at a time. As you decrease the angle, you can attach the baluster next to the previous one, and so on and so on. It takes a little time, but I think this is the easiest way to get them all lined up. With the last one in place, I like to push in from both sides to make sure everything is tight and secure. You can then lift the whole thing up and set it against the post so it's ready for install. I'm using 2 pieces of blocking along the bottom to act as spacers. Just make sure these are under 4 inches tall. To install this section of railing, you can lift the whole thing up, and I place one of the bottom rails along the inside edge of the post. Then angle it up and put the other edge on the other side. Then you can use your foot to push the whole thing down into place. You can make any adjustments as needed to make sure the railing is centered and pushed to the bottom. Then you can begin screwing it into the post. Make sure to have your drill within reach and a couple of screws in your pocket so you can attach it without the railing falling over. Each connector is going to get 4 screws. There are 2 holes in each side, and that's going to give us a really sturdy connection. In total, each of these railing sections will use 16 screws. We can then pull out these bottom spacers, and they'll be used for the next section of railing. Now as you can see, even though I used 4.25 inch spacing for my baluster screws, the actual space between them is well below 4 inches. Same with between the baluster and the post, and between the bottom railing and the deck. Everything needs to be below 4 inches. You also want to make sure your railing height is at least 36 inches, so I'm good here at 37. From there, it's just a matter of repeating the process for each of the railing sections, attaching all the balusters, then lifting the whole thing up, pushing it into place, and then screwing everything into the posts. Just one more look at setting this railing in place. Make sure your drill is nearby, then lift up the railing and fit one end of the bottom rail on the inside of this post. Then tilt the whole thing up until you can fit the other end of the bottom rail onto the inside of the other post. Then push the whole thing down and it should fit into place. You can then tap it to make any adjustments as needed so the whole thing is centered on the posts before screwing into place. I'll also show you how I did the railing for my deck stairway because the process is slightly different. First, I set my railing lumber along the steps so I could match the angle exactly. I then marked either end along the guardrail posts. I adjusted the angle of my saw blade to match those pencil marks and then made my cuts. We can still use these same connector brackets even on the angled ends. Now the building code is slightly different for stairs. You have a little more room, 4 3/8 inches between balusters. The total height has to be between 34 and 38 inches, and you have up to 6 inches below the railing. I'm going to use the same metal balusters, but I'm going to attach them using these angled connectors. They come in two pieces. There's a straight portion as well as an angled portion, and you can just snap them together like this. This is how it's going to look. I measured out the spacing in the same fashion as before, but this time I drilled my pilot holes at an angle. They install with a screw just like before, but again you're installing it at an angle instead of straight down. Now with stairs, it can be tricky to install the whole thing together, so I found that it's actually easier to first install the bottom railing and then add the balusters while it's already in place. I then fit the top of the railing into position, setting it one baluster at a time until everything was fit into the connectors. I forgot to film this, but once everything was in place, I just screwed the top railing into the posts. With all the railings in place, I highly recommend adding some post caps. Not only will these make your deck look better, they also serve an important purpose. They're going to act as a barrier to this exposed end grain, preventing water from soaking in and giving your posts a longer life. The caps easily fit over the top, and there's a hole on either side where you can screw it into place. These install even faster than the post skirts, and once you have them all done, that's the last step, and this railing is complete. I hope this video has helped you build your own deck railing from start to finish. It's extremely sturdy and looks great with the metal balusters, and best of all, it wasn't too difficult and cost a lot less than I expected. Remember, if you want to see how to install composite decking like this with hidden fasteners, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss those videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.